everybody? This is UFC President Dana White, and you're listening to Cheap Pop Radio.
Cheap Pop Radio would like to announce the following disclaimer. This is a work of fiction. Name, character, places, and incidents either are products of author imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual events or locales or persons living or dead is entirely coincidental, bitches.
Hello?
You and your boys need to stop making fun of me on your dumbass podcast. I'm sick of your shit.
Oh, whoa. Look, Virginia, you're engaged, and so I moved on now. And I'm dating a hot 26-year-old dog groomer.
Oh, Thomas, why can't you date someone your own age?
But, baby, that's not how a midlife crisis works. Look, you have to quit stalking me. I've already blocked you on everything from Facebook to LinkedIn.
I'm not stalking you. Get a grip. You even had the nerve to ask my best friend for news.
No, wait, whoa. She was in my inbox talking trash, and she don't even have a booty.
We aren't doing this toxic shit anymore. We don't work well together. I said what I wanted to say, and I'll let you go now so we can get on with our life.
Oh, my God.
4 hours later.
Hello?
You are seeing what looks like a lovely woman. Don't do to her what you did to me.
Whoa, but listen, Virginia, I know it's hard, but you said you were engaged, and so I moved on with my life.
It seems like we're both living great lives apart. You've got her, I have a cat.
Oh, my God, listen, Virginia, I know it's hard, but you've got to let it go. You don't really want me or love me. You're just addicted to controlling me.
I'm not stalking. Get a grip.
You're commenting on my Facebook posts, and we aren't even friends. I mean, if you're going to blatantly stalk me, I have to at least make it worth your while, right?
Like you didn't stalk me for a month after we broke up. You're an asshole, and a $20 man is a closet bitch. I'm never contacting you again.
Whoa, wait, Virginia. God, I fucking hate cats.
So ashamed what I did to you, but here's my confession, it's the least I can do. You know I was trying, it was never enough. I needed somebody, but it got too much. And I know that I've got my problems, and sometimes I lay them on you, but hear me out and give me a chance to say it out loud. Pray for me while I pick up the pieces, turning things around, and maybe things will get better. So wait for me on the other side. A broken soul, but I'm healing with time, and I can't lose, 'cause I got you by my side. A million reasons for me to see clear, and you're in the middle, so I feel no fear. And I know that I've got my problems, and sometimes I lay them on you, but hear me out and give me a chance to say it out loud. Pray for me while I pick up the pieces, turning things around, and maybe You give me hope with everything that you do. I make so much progress when I'm here with you. You hold all the pieces, all of me in your hands. Wait for me while I pick up the pieces, turning things around. And maybe things will get better. So wait for me on the other side. Wait for me and maybe things will get better. So wait for me. Oh no, wait for me on the other side.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to Cheap Pops Radio, coming at you live from the studio apartment in Tomball, Texas. It's Thomas, the Headman Barnes, and I've got Cheap Pops Radio OG. He was on episode number 1.
Yes!
Jesse K. Logan, the American, is it the Sun now?
The American Outlaw. I couldn't escape the outlaw thing. Everyone kept so American Outlaw, right?
Okay,
I'm a little bit of a
and we've
good guy.
also got the Silverback, Nate Slater.
What's going on, man? What's going on?
And then and we've also got lovely Allie.
Shout out to my wife, Allie.
And then we've also got the head of the Cheap Pops cyber stalking division, the $20 man.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, Thomas Bond. We be working with the investigation, and you know, $20 man have strong dislike for you, but he going out of his way to make sure your cyber stalking crimes. You got stalker. It turned out in a third world country, really after you right now.
Crazy.
She hit you up hard. It's really ridiculous,
Totally
y'all.
crazy.
Long story, $20 man can't get through it all, but he working in the cyber stalking crimes division right now.
And so, you know, it's been a long time since we had Jesse Logan on the show, Nate Slater. We had
The last time I was on the show was with Nate Slater.
we had
I'm just
Taylor
wondering.
before.
You know, I've got to ask the question, Thomas.
Yeah.
The last time I was here, you promised me something, and it's still not here. So where the fuck is my steak?
Well, you see, what had happened was my AC was out for a month, and
He ain't
then
lying.
I got gnats.
You
And then-
still got gnats. These motherfuckers
Yeah.
won't leave me alone.
It was rough. I actually, literally, like, real talk, it's a shoot.
I think it's because I'm sitting next to $20 man.
$20
that
trailers.
happened too.
Listen, y'all, $20 trailer look like Martha Stewart's living right now compared to this shithole. It's crazy. Broken toilet seat all broke up. Egg AC halfway working. You got gnat flying in your ear, out your nose, into your mouth, in and out your asshole at the
Martha
same time.
Stewart looks
It's
like a
crazy.
cell.
So, full disclosure, because we're all brothers and one sister. So, the toilet thing
Wait.
was...
She's not my sister.
Yeah, well, but
Ain't
us
nothing
it's
wrong with
different.
that, though.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
She's not.
Dude.
What the
Yeah. But so
Ain't no one judging you.
yeah,
dog.
so the whole thing with the toilet, that was a sexual misadventure. See, I've been dating this, you know,
Wait.
this
Did
dog
you try
groomer.
the Blumpkin again?
No. There was this dog groomer here, and you know, she's 26. We were having a good time. We had some Fireball at Molly's.
She a wonderful
Wait.
woman, by the way.
It's a wonderful woman.
Did you say her?
lovely.
Did you say her name was Molly?
No.
Now, he met her at Molly. That's his second home from
Yeah, I
home.
met her at Molly's pub across the street. We came back here a little bit
You go there too much,
inebriated.
Thomas.
Yeah,
You said dog groomer? Is
Yeah.
that like
You know
code,
what? She
code
cuts
word
the,
for
like,
something?
the dog's hair.
She be jerking them dogs off. Shit, let's get on. Let's just get on this.
Oh, okay, let's get out of here. Yeah, let's get out of this. Let's go back to let's go back to real life stuff with Jesse Logan, and you know, I'm real proud of your wife Nicole Logan.
Yeah.
Actually, last night at the UPW, she kind of kicked ass, and y'all got the victory over Johnny Blade and what was that? Doopies, Super Dupers,
Super
David Duperon.
Super dope is what I like to call him with that mohawk he's got.
Hey,
going
all
on.
I'm saying is he did come out in a wife beater, though. I mean, he may have got his ass beat, but he did come out in a wife beater.
Got his ass beat.
Duperon usually does get his ass beat. But he's a great guy.
I mean,
He's a great guy.
he hadn't beaten me, and he's faced me at least 3 times. So.
There you go.
So let's talk about some of that preparation, with you and your wife, because, she hasn't been in a wrestling match for how long?
Oh man, so full blown. She's been in the ring. It's been about little over 10 years since she's actually been in the ring in front of a crowd. But actual match has been longer. So it's been a minute. But we got in the ring, we worked out, we trained. She got ready, and here we go. We won. Just like we knew we were gonna win.
And $20 Man gotta say, he good ally with Jimmy Blade, and he seen what your wife did to Jimmy Blade.
Johnny.
Yeah, that's what $20 Man just said. But anyway, so he seen that flawless execution of Nicole. She just dropped Jimmy Blade on his forehead, and it was amazing to watch. She just saw, and Jimmy Blade didn't know what to do. He just flipped him like a little.
What was that sound again?
Just saw, and he fell down. He flopping like a little salmon out of the water in Alaska. They just them grizzly bears just trying to grab.
Hey, can you do that sound in reverse?
Saw it, wow, saw. Yeah, and then he did it, and that's the thing is, it was flawless DDTs that she done on him. $20 Man was popping hard for that. He was there. Y'all didn't see him.
I was popping too. Nicole Logan. Jesse Logan. We all go back. Nate Slater. We all go back years and years and years.
Yep.
I think I refereed Nate Slater's 5th retirement match. But it's really good.
I only retired once. However, the retirement didn't stick. So calm down, boy.
But it's really good, because Nicole always had that passion. And you don't see that with a lot of people. You see people that kind of get into wrestling for, especially nowadays with clout. You want to be on the internet. You want to get likes. And it's easy to just get you a Patreon or an OnlyFans like Jordan Grace. You know what I mean? But Nicole Logan, she's got that passion for the business. It's not about just showing out. It's about coming and being the best you can be and working the hardest you can work.
Exactly. That's what we were out there to show, right? And it's not just only that. We got our daughter training, and it was to show her that women do have a place in the wrestling business, despite what every man out there is going to say. And you know what? We're hoping our daughter goes further than we ever did.
Man, brother, because that's the thing. See, people like Thomas Bond, they be getting in the way of these women. They getting all tangled up. But y'all got on the right path because y'all got your daughter coming in. She probably going to take over, wipe out y'all legacy. No, with $20 Man fucked up right there. He didn't mean to say all that shit. But the thing is, we got to get these women's more in check. Get them to have the men's belts, and then they raise the title up on the man. And then it's just a beautiful thing, son. $20 Man love this. Y'all doing the right thing. Y'all doing the right thing. $20 Man. If y'all never need $20 Man's your ass, just call him up. He don't have phone, but you call him up.
We'll talk.
Stick your head out the door and call.
Well, you be living in that trailer.
Just walk up to the trailer.
We all got cell phones. $20 Man still using the styrofoam club and some straight.
Cup phone.
Oh, y'all laughing about that shit? That's a good way to communicate, motherfucker. You laughing about that shit?
Hey, but the real question is,
solo cup.
Real question is, do you have call waiting with your cup phone?
Yeah, you just hit that shit. You hit that string 3 times. and then that's when you put it on wait.
I thought we started using carrier.
And then 2 times back on the call.
Wait, who's your carrier?
Oh, that Southwestern Bells. We got Pack Bells. We got all that shit. It don't matter. We go way back. Southwestern Bells still sending $20 bill on paid bill.
Shout out to Houston Cellular.
Houston Cellular. We got Smarttel. We got.
Dude, I forgot about Houston Cellular.
Yeah.
Switch from Motorola to a Prime Call phone.
Oh, dude, that's some old school right there.
$20 Man still on that Smart Beep.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we're going to take a break. We're going to be right here on Cheap Pops Radio, sponsored by Loco Wrestling, Cartoon U, and JMT Shots.
This is owner and promoter Jaime Martinez with Loco Wrestling. And if you want to follow us on our social medias, please go to our Facebook at Loco Wrestling. It's the same for Instagram and Twitter. So, upcoming events, September. September 18th, Reggie, featuring Loki, Mil Muertes, Savio Vega, and so much more. Our next event is November 20th. It's The Good, The Bad, and The Fake. Card, everything is going to be announced very, very soon. And December, coming soon, Fight Club 2, GCW versus Loco. So any updates, go to Facebook, Instagram, and if you want to buy tickets, go to Local Wrestling Big Cartel. And if you want any merch or swag, anything to do with local wrestling, just slide into my DMs at Jaime Martinez on Facebook, and we can get you squared away. So I'll see you at the next show. And if it ain't Loco, it ain't Fire Daddy.
I played a cut with my homies, dressed in all black and we cozy. Can't say you love, you gotta show me. I ain't with my guys, then I'm dolly. Ain't no vibe like this, they don't rock like this, and you know we don't miss. Swish, they don't catch my drift, tell them I ain't they biz, they'll catch my gist, bitch. Ain't no vibe like this, they don't rock like this, and you know we don't miss. Swish, they don't catch my drift, tell them I ain't they biz, they'll catch my gist, bitch. I'm in a cut with my homies, I'm in a cut with my homies. Show no love to the police, show no love to the phonies. No love, no love. She wanna come to my homie, she wanna ride like a pony. Better pay up if you owe me, don't come around like you know me.
Man's that moving too shaky, acting sus for no reason. Still do the dash like Stacy with a city girl, it's that season. She wanna ride this all-wheel drive, you don't gotta put no key in. We on a rise like emoji eyes, you know that they be preying. Stashing the guap, setting up shop. I got a plan, is you ready or not? Puffin' this plant, rising my stock, force on my hand, they moving wide. Don't gotta scam, don't gotta hop. I turn styles, screw it and chop. Shout out big bro, he call me Ock, keeping it safe, we got it on lock. This is a whole mood like O2, I told Missy to work it. She got that soul food, I'm so full, she get busy for certain. This is a whole mood like O2, I told Missy to work it. She got that soul food, I'm so full, she get busy for certain.
Ain't no vibe like this, they don't rock like this, and you know we don't miss. Swish, they don't catch my drift, tell them I ain't they biz, they'll catch my gist, bitch. Ain't no vibe like this, they don't rock like this, and you know we don't miss. Swish, they don't catch my drift, tell them I ain't they biz, they'll catch my gist, bitch. I'm in a cut with my homies, I'm in a cut with my homies. Show no love to the police, show no love to the phonies. No love, no love. She wanna come to my homie, she wanna ride like a pony. Better pay up if you owe me, don't come around like you know me. We in the spot, thuggin' like Pac, kicking in doors, you know we don't knock. She wanna dance, do a TikTok, she making it move, she making it drop. We set the mood, pull up and eat all your food. Ooh, 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 how can we lose? Blessings keep coming in twos. Ay, you do or you don't, you will or you won't. Hop in the Phantom, then I go ghost. They doing the most, they watch what you post. Like in our picture, she like how I post. They saying we goals, Kobe on gold. Playing the cut, just me and my woes. We getting high to balance the lows. You hear the flows, fuck all these hoes. I need my ducks in a row, whoa, yeah. Coming up fast, I thought we was moving too slow, whoa, no. Making a killing, cause we keep selling these clothes, yeah. It's how it's so, I ain't gon' tell you no more, just me and my bro, ayy. Ain't no vibe like this, they don't rock like this, and you know we don't miss. Swish, they don't catch my drift, tell them I ain't they biz, they'll catch my gist, bitch. Ain't no vibe like this, they don't rock like this, and you know we don't miss. Swish, they don't catch my drift, tell them I ain't they biz, they'll catch my gist, bitch. I'm in a cut with my homies, I'm in a cut with my homies. Show no love to the police, show no love to the phonies. No love. She wanna come to my homie, she wanna ride like a pony. Better pay up if you owe me, don't come around like you know me.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here at Cheap Pops Radio. We've got Jesse K. Logan, Nate Slater, and the $20 Man. You know, kind of one thing, since we're talking about wrestling this week, we've got Steve Demarco on the show later on in his first interview since, speaking out last summer. But, one thing has changed, one other thing in wrestling since coronavirus started. Nowadays, you start seeing these flyers and you have all these match announcements with the cute little emojis on Facebook. But one thing you see is the fans are now kind of sponsoring wrestlers. But then they're also having to buy tickets to the show. That's literally like the biggest work I've seen.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Like, they're going to sponsor a specific person to be on the show. And it's a good idea wrestling promoter-wise, but, like...
The wrestling promoters pretty much kind of the ones that do... It's kind of like passing the buck, to be honest. Like, you've always... there's always been sponsors, but it was always like, well, T-Mobile is sponsoring this.
Think about
or
this
a company.
Too. Think about this too. One of the things, speaking out wasn't just about the women in their movement, right? Everyone forgot everything that was just about speaking out, right? There was also calling out bullying. They were calling out all kinds of other things, and yeah, well, no, it wasn't just about the women. I mean, that's what took the limelight. I'm not going to take away from it. But there was other things. There was a lot of bullying that was getting called out, and then people not getting paid. So I think the whole deal about getting sponsors, actually sponsored talent, was to make sure people were getting paid.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you're back to that point of passing the buck, because apparently the promoters can't actually do what they're supposed to do.
Well, yeah, you got to go out and promote the show. But,
and it's always the little baby shows too.
Well, I like to call them pop-up shows, and they like to run out of just certain areas.
To me,
$20 being lost on that one, yo.
To me, it's wrong because it's always been. It's different if you've got a company or a business that's like, hey, we're sponsoring this match. Come buy our stuff. But now it's like you're literally taking, the fans who built it. And let's face it, we were all fans before we worked in wrestling, before we went to training, before we did all the crazy stuff. But I feel bad when I see that for, like, the fans. Like, I saw a Facebook post. Like, there's one, super fan, John Martin, that sponsored a wrestler for a show. And it's like you're making the fan, like, sponsor and pay for this wrestler's kind of, his fee for performing. But you're still having to pay to get in the show. And to me, it seems like you're taking advantage of said fan.
No, I agree 100%.
I can see that. You should be paying, if they're going to sponsor the worker, or they're going to sponsor the wrestler.
Front row seats.
They should.
Well,
be.
I wouldn't say front row. I'd definitely give you a ticket to the building.
They get in the damn ring. They could be in the ring.
Well, here's the issue, though. Here's the issue. I can understand. I can understand sponsoring talent and allowing you tickets to access the building. However, you will sit general admission, but be able to sit VIP front or second row, that still needs to be reserved for people who are willing to pay the extra money to sit first or second row.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the change because the business is trying to adapt because you don't have that full capacity because of coronavirus. But it's like, should we really be putting that on the fans?
No, definitely not.
Because
it's your job. It's your job as a promoter and a promotion, and as a performer, to make sure that you're putting asses in the seats. You're as a performer, as a wrestler, it is your job to promote the show. It is your job to put asses in the seats, and it is your job to make sure that you're promoting the show for next month to make sure they want to come back and bring their friends.
Hey, speaking of sponsorships, take time to listen to Stanley Only Radio. Stanley Only been interviewing them kids.
Whoa, you mean Stony Only?
Yeah, make sure to listen to Stanley Only.
The indie podcast world is exploding.
Yeah, I know. It's going all over the place. But make sure he's much better than Thomas Bourne. He have better articulation of his vocabulary.
Wait, are you on his payroll too?
Yeah, $20. Whatever it takes.
It's a 20-second YouTube video.
Whatever it takes for $20, man.
$20 is $20.
Hey, $20 is $20 if you're getting 20 views. I think it gets about 20.
Hey, man.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Come on, $20, man. Come on.
So speaking of things being canceled and all that, and Steve Demarco ain't here yet to get testifying to this shit, but ain't it so much better for the wrestling world that Thomas Bourne ain't in it? He don't be in your way. He don't be all that. It's so much better Thomas Bourne out of the picture. So that's
we
what's
do finally get a 3 count.
Amen.
Ooh. I will disagree. However, Lobo's 10 times the referee you ever were.
And ladies and gentlemen,
Ham Bone's been doing a pretty good job.
I saw him
too,
over at DZW or something.
No, he's UPW too.
He's a ref for UPW, but I think he's taking over control at DZW also.
Silverbacks with the quote of the day.
Speaking of DZW, we got to bring this up. Because there's certain ways to put a show over. There's certain ways to not put a show over. And you know how everybody puts out like those statements.
Yeah.
Like official like memos, then they post on Facebook. It's all the work, and the fans get worked up, and that's cool. I get it, but make sure you spell it right. It's all about being professional. You're promoting a business.
Last I checked, I asked about that. They said they sent it to $20 Man to proofread.
Oh, that's totally different. That's totally different.
It don't matter. It got out there though. $20 Man got it out there, and the message was heard. Y'all understood it.
And before we take a break, and before we get to Steve DeMarco, I want to note that every time that I put something out for Cheap Pops Radio, I double check the spelling.
Spelling?
The spelling.
You can't say it right.
But it's spelled right because it's all about the appearance, the representation. And like if you put out a memo and it's got the red lines, those red lines are telling you it's spelled wrong.
Oh.
Exactly.
It's not decoration.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was for emphasis.
Anybody who's ever gotten a message from me knows I'm the most horrible speller at anything.
But that's different. It's a
20 times
message.
before I do
We're
it.
talking about a post that, like, you're gonna have.
This coming from a guy that sits behind his computer all day, so it's okay.
Half the fan don't even know how to read, son.
English
Don't
all the
worry
time,
about it.
man.
Half the fan don't even have third grade
You know,
English
to be honest,
in their vocabulary.
we should put just a red line over $20 Man.
Yeah.
Wow, damn.
You're going over
The red
or
line
under?
across the top and then the blue squiggly one on the bottom. Make it
$20
double
Man.
worse, man.
Let's go through it.
And the strike through. Change the font colors.
You know, Jesse Slater, $20 Man was on your side.
Hey, whoa. I told you, get the name right.
Yeah, that's what he did.
No. That's Jesse Logan.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we're going to take a break. We've already offended everybody. We'll be right back here on Cheap Pops Radio with Texas indie legend, sexy Steve DeMarco.
This is your favorite artist, Ryan Shaw with Cartoon U. Check out my website, cartoon-u.com, your place for custom art, fan art, wrestling art, and logo designs. Use promo code CHEAPPOPS19 for a 15% off your order. And give me a follow on Instagram at CartoonRyan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cheap Pops Radio, coming at you live from the studio apartment, Tomball, Texas. We've got a special guest on the show tonight, Cheap Pops OG, going all the way back to the old school TSW Hill fan radio. Our homeboy, sexy Steve DeMarco, welcome to Cheap Pops Radio.
Oh my God, what is it like to talk to other human beings other than my wife and my 1-year-old and my soon-to-be 17-year-old son? It's a pleasure to talk to you guys. But I'm gonna admit, guys, I am. You're probably gonna have to beat me because I do curse like a sailor. I'm freaking the fuck out because this will be the.
This man talking about freaking the fuck out.
Honestly, this is gonna be the one and only time.
No. Listen. You talking about freaking the fuck out? Listen, son. $20 Man here in the studio for first time ever. We got Jesse Slater, we got Nate Logan, and on the phone we got Steve DeMarcus. Steve DeMarcus in the house, everybody. $20 Man losing his mind. You keep it up,
Oh my
son.
God.
Woo!
Yeah, he hasn't been let out of his cage either, brother.
I didn't realize we switched names.
I know, right? He always does
Wow.
this.
Guys, we're all in a variant universe, so everything's plausible at this point.
And like you said, we actually haven't. The world hasn't actually heard, from Steve DeMarco since the pandemic, and then
Right.
we know the pandemic happened, and then last summer, we had the whole speaking out in the wrestling industry, where a lot of women who felt that they had been wronged, and they all kind of came out at once, and then you were kind of included in that. And then really no one's heard from you since. Welcome back to civilization, Steve DeMarco. I've always been a firm believer that to every story, there's two sides. And a lot of these cases, that doesn't really happen. So I kind of wanted to, hear your side of it.
Well, and again, man, I want to thank all of you that are here, all jokes aside, and I know we're going to try to be have as much levity as we possibly can, but let's be honest, man. I got exiled into fatherhood but not stepfatherhood, but like fatherhood. You know, my son's 1. So my priorities.
Shout out to
you,
Jackson.
man. You know,
Shout out to Jackson.
Jackson's amazing. And I have an amazing wife. Like I say, I'm in marital bliss and the joy of parenthood and all of that. Like I subscribe to it. My life changed the moment he was born. So 2020, as far as the accusations, really, it's more about 2018 because that's really where all of it takes place. And to be honest, the way it was handled social media wise is very much the way it was handled when I was let go at Booker's. So let's go back to 2018 because the one thing that no one has asked me, friends, foes, anyone who had a chance to really kind of chime in via Twitter or Facebook, I went into parenthood. I just released my statement kind of after talking to my wife about it, and I immediately said, okay, well, there's no good that can come out of me addressing it. I had opportunities, which we can get into, to have a platform. I wasn't going to use my own. It wasn't like I was going to go on my YouTube channel or any number of Facebook pages and try to like fan the flames or try to give my side, because that was not the purpose of it. Right, that wasn't the need for it. Speaking out wasn't about the ones that were accused. It was more about those that were doing the accusing and sharing their story. And I thought it was a powerful movement. And I felt like, who am I to dissuade anyone? Like, if I do comment and say defend myself, if I allow anyone to defend me, that could dissuade someone who went through some real shit and doesn't want to say anything because, well, a guy like Steve Demarco could, and maybe the person that I'm referring to is someone who's of equal stature or bigger stature or whatever have you. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, realistically, who am I? That's the thing that you have to really think about. But let's go to 2018 because that's really where this story took place. And we could go blow by blow. I could look at her, I hadn't read it until we shared it in a group chat prior to this. I think I read it when it was initially put out, and I read it during the 1 year period just to kind of brace myself for the potential of some, let's go back to telling this story. But then I read it today and I was like, man, it sounds, again, from an outsider looking in, like that guy's a real creep, whoever she's talking about. But it's her side, and you say there's 2, I say there's 3. There's her perspective, my perspective, and then the perspective of like how it all syncs up, right? I could try to paint myself as a saint. That's not the case. I'm not. I didn't come into the wrestling business with any level of purity. I didn't come into it a completely fully formed human being. I was broken when I walked into it, and I took a liking to the trauma that it brought and everything that comes with it, right? And so you look at 2018. I'd been Steve Demarco in my life for the better half of my life as a defense mechanism against an incredibly shy kid who, and not to paint myself any aspersions, but truthfully, anyone who knows me knows that Demarco's a separate, very confident being. That's what he is. But if you really know me, I am not that person. So 2018 happens, and we could go blow by blow, but I would say that none of what happened. None of what she paints happened. I could say, hey, man, do I hug people long? Yes, I hugged Nate Slater for a very long time. I've hugged Jesse Logan for a very long time.
And I enjoy
I've hugged Thomas, I've hugged Thomas Barnes for a very long time.
They had to hug Thomas Barnes, though. Really, though, Steve DeMarcus, don't hug Thomas Barnes no more.
Aside from that, it's like there's that disparity, and there's a few, but again, I didn't want to cover it. And when I was let go from Booker, the way I was let go, I was dealing with a concussion from Byron Wilcott. I was at the First Ladies Night Out as an invited guest. And I don't know when Rachel decided to tell Booker that she had an issue with me, and I don't know exactly what she told him, because what I got was 5 minutes after the event ended, I was going home. I was talking to Shiva, who had performed there, and we were catching up, and I get a phone call from Bernhardt's phone, and I assume it's Kevin, to just check on me because we really didn't get to talk during the event, and it was Booker T. And Booker said that my conduct in the locker room was unprofessional, and I was no longer needed at Reality Wrestling. He no longer wanted me there. No one wanted me there. I'm like 200 feet away from his office, and yet that was the send-off I got.
A phone call.
A guy who, yeah, and I had been there with Reality of Wrestling since basically its inception, had brought them their videography crew, had introduced those players. Kevin and I go way back, Booker and I go way back, but I was an unpaid producer for over 5 years, an unpaid coach for over 5 years. And the only way I got on the show was by being something completely opposite of Steve Demarco. And so there's 2018. GSL was just about to debut, had just debuted maybe 2 weeks prior to the dismissal. I was dealing with a concussion, which was pretty severe, which took me about 3 months to recover from fully. And all of a sudden, what clout I didn't really have, because I wasn't a credited producer, it wasn't like people knew, unless I mentioned it, people didn't know. It's not like I got fancy business cards that said, or on the website, it's like Steve Demarco's our promo coach or character development guy or an agent or whatever. It was like, no, you don't even see me on the show. I'm not anywhere on it, no matter how much of it that I helped build.
Right.
And again, I have this, I have Rachel, who it was one thing when she wasn't wrestling. It was another thing once GSL started taking off and I started going to other shows. And I didn't know what the problem was. I assumed it was like I said something in the locker room and it upset her and she felt uncomfortable. And I started telling people about that in seminars, like, don't talk about anybody. And if you are, make sure it's loud enough that they hear it.
I actually remember you saying that in that seminar you had at the All-Star.
Exactly.
All-Star show.
I didn't know anything else. And so for anytime I would see her, and mind you, let's get real nitty gritty before we get into it, because we're going here and then we're going to talk about 2020. I start going to RWR. Scott Bruce books me. The original idea was GSL is now a unit, and now we have companies going, who's going to be the first to crown them all? Is it going to be All-Star, which was not wanting to do it, because we were this big heel group and we were constantly on the show, and every reason why you should put gold on us was not enough reason. So RWR's like, I'm going to put all the gold on y'all. At that time, Pumpkin Morgan's a part of my crew, but she's injured. And so that we have a traveling snafu. 2 of the members can't make it the night that I win the title. But the original goal was RWR would be GSL. Because when we debuted, we were this big group, okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Rachel happens to be there, and because Pumpkin's unable to perform and is not in the building, they give Rachel the title.
Right,
now,
I remember that.
By that point, anytime I would see her, she would make it as visibly uncomfortable as humanly possible, to where I just knew, keep my distance, because she obviously still has a problem, although no one's telling me what that problem is. Not her, none of her friends, no one. Even people that would give me secondhand information, they were like, oh, they said, Oz told me, oh, she said you harassed her. And I was like, what are we talking about? She had a boyfriend. I had a girlfriend. I am pretty monogamous. I'm a producer. Guys, I've been a producer for years.
So I want to kind of stop you for 1 second, and I kind of want to, just to clarify and just to kind of point this out, you literally lost a job over an accusation that you weren't completely aware of 100%, correct?
Correct. Nor was I even, like, here's my scenario. Like, because you can't change it, right? If he wanted to let me go, by all means, let me go. Because here's the truth. 2 months prior, we're having a discussion about how to make the school more visible on social media. We're covering like, well, you know, I always told Kevin, Booker's the figurehead, like that he should welcome everyone into his school and they should follow him like a one log shot like we used to do at IWE. And lo and behold, after I leave, that's what they do. We had discussed how do you quantify when a wrestler's ready to perform, because I have two students asking me, why does so-and-so get to be on the card beforehand? Not in a bitchy way, but a curious, like what is Booker looking for? Can we quantify that? We should be able to. So here I am, the first part of 2018, like I want to get paid. I had not gotten paid. I figure, well, I need to add more value, so let me try to help him with the school as far as like how do we make it more of a factory to produce performers. If you're not going to get them hired at big places, at least let's make it worthwhile for them here so that they have a real understanding of what it is to get over, what it is to be prepared, what it is to cut a great promo, all of that, what it is to have locker room etiquette. Let's talk about code of conduct. Like, wrestling is the one place where people assume that we have an employee handbook and that we're given some guided tour that gives us the do's and don'ts, when in actuality, there's none of that. You barely sign a waiver. No one's signing a code of conduct, at least not as of 2020. I haven't been in a locker room since. But here we go. So, and I lost my chain of thought because I'm trying to, make sure I don't get too heated about it. But the truth is that Booker there wasn't a investigation as far as like, I would have appreciated Booker if he wants to can me, cool. He doesn't like what about? He heard her and thought it's legit enough, but why not ask me?
Correct.
Why not pull me into the building? Like we all know a promoter, the one day you do not discuss anything with them is the day of the show.
Yes.
And so if this issue she's had with me, this incident she's had with me happened in January, I've been there since the Inspire show. He's had plenty of opportunity to reach out to me and like, let's have a discussion. And what I would have preferred is, hey, Booker come into my office. She has this accusation. What do you have to say for yourself? And I would have given my side of things. And I would have said, here's the intent. There was none. She had a boyfriend. I have a girlfriend. I'm a producer at this show. Why am I going to risk all of that to do what? Again, if I was brand new to it, if I had never produced, if we had some torrid love affair, but no, we were friends. She helped me in promo class with like filming stuff, and like she was a makeup girl for a little bit before she started performing. But truth be told, like I still didn't know. And so I'd go to these shows that she'd be at, and I will tell you one thing about it. RWR, we've won some gold. We're doing a photo shoot. The hallway's kind of small, so we don't have a lot of space. So Houston Shot's taking pictures, and we're trying to do group photos. And I can't remember the other female talent, but Rachel was one of them. And they come crossing the photo shoot area, like between us and the cameraman. The one that was with her apologized, said sorry, and she's like, who the fuck cares, said Rachel. And now anyone who knows me knows I'm about respect. It doesn't matter. Right. I'm about respect. I will call a person out if I see a wrong. If I don't see it, I'm not going to call it out. But I had to keep my mouth shut every time because, again, she's the one who got me fired for book. I don't know for what. I just know she's the one who made a comment or told him something the day of a show. Like, why not put, again, and that was the last time I had a conversation with Booker about it. Kevin and I have talked back and forth a little bit, but we rarely bring it up. I'm super supportive of the company, and the fact is that even when I was let go and I would get booked at shows, at that point, Rachel is with the cool. It's her and Cam Cole and Kiefer Bartek. And if people would ask me who you should book, I would be like, you need to book that trio. Rachel really adds something to the group, and I think it's a great dynamic. And man, they're all talented folks. So never once, regardless of even after how she made me feel, in locker rooms, being a bitch to me, I'd be like, well, I guess it's justified. I guess I said something that really offended her. Some people just, they carry that. Cool, whatever, man. I'm too old to carry a grudge. So, I'd rather focus on the positives of this fucked up industry. So,
right.
So yeah, man. So then you get.
On that note, real quick, let's go ahead. We got to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be right back here on Cheap Pops Radio, sponsored by JMT Shirts and Cartoon U.
I look out across the water, I smell the song, I feel the breeze, but in my heart I hear the calling of my old home, Tennessee. We don't know where these rivers flow, why the wind chooses when and where to blow. The sun is gonna rise each and every time, but I've still got Tennessee on my mind. From Reaper's Fork to Watertown, and maybe Johnson City or Memphis bound. No matter where I go, no matter what I see, I still hear the calling of Tennessee. And who we don't know where these rivers flow, or why the wind chooses when and where to blow. The sun is gonna rise each and every time, and I've still got Tennessee on my mind. I miss the smoke on the Cumberland and the fireflies at midnight, and the color of the leaves in the fall. But who are we to know where these rivers flow, or why the wind chooses when and where to blow? The sun is gonna rise each and every time, and I've still got Tennessee on. Yeah, I've still got Tennessee on my mind. Yeah.
And we're back here on Cheap Pops Radio with Texas indie legend, Sexy Steve Demarco.
Come on, come on.
That man don't know how to say names right.
Oh my God. Thomas. Fuck what they say. That was very sensually done.
Yes.
I applaud you.
Yeah,
That's how you should introduce all your guests, male, female, or whatever. That is exactly how you do it.
Exactly.
And on that note, kind of going back to kind of that serious side, the Sexy Steve, Demarco expose. There was one line where when she made that speaking out post, that really kind of made me stop and think. Per her statement, she said that you told her, if there's a line I'm crossing, tell me so I know where it is, but I might leap over it. To me, as the reader, as not being there, you see her side, you see the sexy Steve Demarco statement. But that one line from her to me was telling, because the way I took it was you were like, hey, so this is where I am, tell me where I can't go. It sounded to me like you gave her a chance just to say no.
Oh, see, and here's the funny thing about that line. So let's back up. When I was a coach at Reality of Wrestling, I had been approached by Blake Jones, who was a head trainer there. Mind you, he's also chimed in after the fact, yet never reached out to me, but that's the one petty comment I'm going to make. Because he was the one who brought to my attention that my coaching, producing style can be very abrasive. He's like, I don't have a problem with it because you're effective in how you dish it out, but there are some of the newer students that have an issue with it. So I took a step back. I was like, okay, man, I want to be an effective producer, not a producer that, what worked for me at IWE or what worked for me at Uncut may not work for me here. This is a new generation, and I don't like being screamed at when given instruction. I don't care how passionate you are. Like, talk to me like a human being, and we'll go from there. But I will also tell you, if you are producing me, that I expect to be talked to like a human being as opposed to being mum. So when I started doing seminars, when I would coach anyone, when I would produce anyone, I would tell a large group of people, look, I can be very abrasive. I can be very vulgar. I'm a grown man. I don't believe that children are part of our industry. So I can be very passionate and sometimes very intense, and that can be taken a certain way. I don't mean any harm by it, but if you have a line, be sure to tell me what it is so I know to back off. If you like to be coddled, I need to know that. If you don't want to be called stupid motherfucker, let me know so I don't call you that.
And I have witnessed you tell people that. I've
exactly.
seen it in action.
And I said, so if you give me the line, then I'm well aware of it. I'll be sure not to cross it. However, if you choose not to tell me, I will jump straight over it because I have no line. As Steve Demarco, I have no line. I live in a world, I perform in a world where people basically can take shots at me and I can't beat them down physically. Like legitimately, I can't use whatever I've learned in the streets or through my times in the fighting and whatnot. I have to be very, very measured in what I do and what type of damage I inflict because I don't want to have any damage inflicted on me. So let's work together, entertain, and get out of here so we can do this again sometime. And so that's where that line comes from. Now, the way she paints it, I don't agree with it because I'm not that person. I'm not someone who needs to back a girl into a corner and make her feel so uncomfortable that she wants nothing to do with me. And if she had said she was uncomfortable, you best believe I'm the first person to apologize profusely and try to make sure we're both on the same page. I for a while there, after reading the statement, just go, man, it's just a situation where we're on different pages. Because if she had asked me what my intent was, I would be honest and I would have told her, man, you're friends. I'm friendly. I am a flirt. I don't mean anything by it because look at the scenario. There's never going to be a situation where we hook up. I invite you out to my car so I can go grab something because we're in the middle of a conversation. You're going to go back to your seat. Not to mention, once I had seen her and texted her that night, Connor, who became her boyfriend, told me that he was interested in her, and I was like, man, you should go after her. In fact, why don't we all go grab a bite to eat, which is what I asked her. Let's all go as a group, because when I ever go to an Austin show, I'd love to go to Magnolia Cafe or Trudy's. That was paramount, and the two people I rode up there with, which is Ryan Davidson and Yul Hubbard, can attest that anytime I go to Austin, before I lived here, that's what I would do.
Well, see, and I think a lot of it is sometimes between men and women, there's a disconnect. Because all men are different and all women are different. Some women like that kind of take charge attitude, while some women get kind of, put off by it. And some men aren't the take charge kind of guy, whereas some men are. And so as a guy, being 42, I could totally get that some women like that. So if if you don't try that, they don't give you any play. So I think there's a lot of misconception in that, and that's not her fault or maybe your fault. It's just cats and dogs. You grow up, they talk about men and women as kind of, cats and dogs, the cat's chasing the dog, blah, blah, blah. But I think there's a lot of misconceptions and there's a lot of feeling there. And I think it's very important at the time for both parties to be kind of upfront, because the guy is always going to try. So it's kind of, as the woman, you've got to say, look, bro, that's not me, man. We can be friends. If you don't really say that or tell that to a guy, he's still kind of pursuing because you haven't told him no.
Well, but I mean, even in this situation, I would say, man, I wasn't pursuing her. And I think that's sometimes a misconception, is that they hear, oh, Steve Demarco, and they get, oh, he's got a reputation, and they draw they draw the ideas of what was my intent, and I'm like, guys, I'm friendly when I flirt. I can flirt without having the intent of wanting to hook up. I'm like, she's a colleague. Yes, she's a female colleague, and I am a flirty guy, and I had to learn, like, okay, no, not even in a friendly tone. Don't do that. Don't say that you think she's pretty, because it can be construed that you have the hots for her, and it's like, no, I mean, I thought you were attractive, but I'm not pursuing you. I have someone. You have someone. We work here. Like, what? Nothing can come of this.
Right. Exactly.
And so that's part of it, is like, oh, well, Steve, you obviously wanted to hook up with her. And I'm like, no, I wanted to invite her to a group dinner, and I thought she looked nice that night. I asked her if she was alone, because she was sitting by herself, and I could see her where she was sitting because of where all the locker room was. So there was no, like, I'm stalking her. There's no, like, hey, let me block a doorway so I have to feel up on you. Because honestly, as a coach, I could have easily said, all right, I'm going to put on some wrestling gear or some workout gear, and let's get in there and roll around. And anyone who knows my promo classes or my coaching style at Reality Wrestling knows I never got in the ring, because I was, like, as far as I was concerned, more or less retired. Like, I was transitioning to, I would have gladly worked for Booker for free for probably the rest of my life, because I valued what they were trying to do as a promotion. Whether I agreed with vision, whatever, I wanted to be a part of that. So, I took the job really seriously. And that's the other thing. Like, people have this perception, and I'm like, guys, look at my history of being a producer, a showrunner, running shows, organizing shows. Do I appear to you to be that kind of guy as a talent? With another female talent, do I appear to you to be the kind of guy that's going to do something publicly or make her feel uncomfortable? I was getting laid long before I got into wrestling. I don't need, like, some strategy to get laid. And that's the other perception, is like, well, you couldn't have got it. And I'm not saying I could or couldn't. I'm saying I wasn't trying to do that. I was simply trying to be friendly, and it was poorly done. But had she said anything, I would have quickly, and I've told people that, hey, if you talk to her and she ever wants to talk to me about it, just so we can kind of be on the same page, because I don't want an uncomfortable situation for either of us. I don't want people choosing sides. I don't want people going and vilifying her. You can vilify her for stuff that she's done at other shows.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to vilify her for what she said in that statement, regardless of how I view it, because it's my perception. Yes, it could be construed a certain way. I can't sit here and say that I'm completely innocent of any and all things. I said I did engage in locker room talk. I'm not sitting here and saying that I was perfect. But what my problem probably with the movement in general, the canceling idea in general, is, for one, you can't really cancel somebody. Social media, yes, you can, but there's always going to be a fan base for whoever. It's proven. People that have...
To me, this whole cancel thing, you get like these Facebook mobs and you get these Twitter mobs, but it's just social media. Like, it's not real. Like, it's just a bunch of people talking trash on Facebook. It's on Twitter. It gets trendy. You see 10 people post the same thing, so you hit share. And it's kind of one of the reasons we've got all, like, this fake news that we see in the media, because people just blindly kind of say, Yeah, that's right. He's Steve Demarco's an asshole. You know what I mean? But nobody really looks at it.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I try, I got off. I mean, there are other people that were accused that got way worse and continue to get pretty bad, and some seem bulletproof to that stuff and whatever. I walked away for a variety of reasons. It wasn't just the accusations. We had COVID. We still have COVID. Like, again, I don't know if I could trust the locker room where the bare minimum we do is sign a waiver, which absolves them of any legality if something goes wrong. If you get injured at their show, it's not like they're liable for anything. That's the one form you sign. Again, I haven't been to one in a while.
Why are you looking at me?
I mean, Slater, all you had to do was a belt tug of war and a stare down.
Come on, Steve. We've had this conversation.
Yes, and Slater, if you're like, I need to spear you before we go to the next big show, I'm like, no, man, let's make them pay to see you spear me. Why are you doing it for free on a segment that they're not even going to get to see after this? So come on, man. Like, let's do it. You know what? I'll even let you win the tug of war, man, because I don't care about being considered a pussy, because I'm a heel, man. Like, it's totally fine. You be the hero, dude. I'm Thanos. I got the snap. It's cool, bro. Like, you do your thing.
I snapped too hard, bro.
That man have a big glove too. We got them diamond on the knuckles. The thing, big old gold glove. Right. That man right there.
Yeah, you got no excuse for it, all, man.
But again, again, I there's COVID. I have asthma. I don't know. I may have caught COVID before that, like before it became all the rage, but I have asthma. My wife was pregnant. Now I have a 1-year-old. Like, he's walking, but he's not walking really well. He's growing as he grows. And I'm like, I'd rather be with him. And then it goes into a whole myriad of things. Like, I've been asked, why aren't you more vocal? And it's like, it wasn't the time or place. The speaking out movement's much like the Me Too movement. No one wants to hear from me.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to hear from me.
It's about
they
the
want
victims.
To hear from.
It's about the victims.
It should be.
It should be.
Right. At the same time, I go, well, did it serve its purpose? I don't know. What was its goal? What ultimate goal were they trying to achieve? If they were trying to get rid of some toxic people, cool. But did they make real change? I don't know. And that's the thing, And the truth is, we still live we're still part of an industry. And I'm an outsider, more or less a fan at this point, because again, I have a, little known fact. I tore my shoulder in early February pulling double duty at TASW, and I didn't injure it being Steve Demarco.
Right.
And still had to perform because GSL were baby faces, and we had to work out an injury angle. I still only got paid for one appearance, and I had a shoulder that made me very limited for the last bit of wrestling I did really hindered. I had a bad shoulder that I could barely really get going, and that is tough to try to be a champion at places. So I welcomed the pandemic. And with fatherhood, I welcome, but again, I go, well, what's the incentive of me going someplace unless a lot of things are met? Like, does the locker room know I'm coming? Are they totally cool with it? Are you going to announce me? Are we doing this as a secret? And if we're doing it as a secret, well, that's a whole slew of things that I can't cover, that I have to kind of work in secret. And there are no secrets on social media. So I can't go train somewhere without someone posting a pic, even if they're like being supportive, because then it comes across as like, well, Steve's trying to come back. And I'm like, guys, no one's talking to me. No one's invited me anywhere. Yes, there have been feelers. I'm not even going to really even saying that's a bad thing, because there are going to be people like, oh, he's trying to get in. And it's like, guys, if people want to use me and they don't have a problem, why should you have a problem if you're not there?
I agree,
like the
100%,
general,
100.
The general fan base does not care about the speaking out movement, because they were well aware of the toxic environment that produced wrestling. But damn, we work in a trauma-filled environment. So what do you expect? And it's hard for me to swallow, like, expectations. Not all of us can be Jesse Logan and be, pious and pure and have the perfect storybook romance. And he's the guy in wrestling that you go, that other young wrestlers should go, I aspire to have that happen, to meet my wife, and we have kids, and we're still together, and now she's back to performing, and oh God, she's cancer-free, and we're like, Jesse, we know, you've got a front row seat to heaven, I get it, you're fine, you're immortal. Or Slater, who's got I'm waiting for Silverback Wrestling to start running, but what I don't want is Silverback Wrestling to not run because they're like, well, our first acquisition is Steve Demarco, and people go, well, why would you bring that creep to the show? And it's like, well, he's a really good heel and really entertaining. Or guys, he did get fired in 2018. Like, if you want to call it fired, he got punished. Like, why is he getting punished? Again.
Yeah,
and truth be told, but here's the funny part, right? We go back to cancel culture. There is also a world where someone could tell Mr. B, and I've joked about this, but someone could go, Mr. B could run a 21 and up show and call himself the barely legal catcher, and he gets all these girls that look barely legal, and it'd be the killer gimmick of social media. And he would probably get more popular than anything else. And it would take like Jesus to come down and smite him, or something like that. But again, it would be I don't know if anyone's truly canceled, and at the same time, there's still like the issue
problem.
Of like.
The problem is everyone's afraid to go out on a limb. They don't want to be the first one. They don't want to take that heat. But in our case, we kind of run separate. We do our own thing. We always have. We've never been just a wrestling show. We're an entertainment show. We talk about wrestling sometimes. And so that's why I'm not afraid to go on a limb, for my homeboy Steve Demarco. Everyone deserves that road to redemption. And it's not fair for, 2,000 people on Twitter to deny a guy that redemption, because we've all been shitbags. We've all been bad to somebody. We've all had a toxic relationship. We've all kind of just, we all go through it. And I think, people jump on that bandwagon and they don't stop.
Everybody wants to vilify somebody else so they don't get vilified themselves, and unfortunately.
Well, but let me ask you this, right? Because here's one question that I really was suffering through before we started the conversation, right? The idea of speaking out was a thing, and for a period of time, people actually were calling people out, specifically, right? Tagging people, and in some ways, you've got your Barrett Browns, who if he sees an injustice, that dude is front and center. He will tag who he needs to tag. He'll be like, wrestling promotion such and such, and I don't like their business, and blah 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 blah, and this why, and he's got a great argument, but he does call them out. Now you have scenarios. Case in point. A young lady goes to a show she's not really a part of. She goes with a promoter who she's the champion of. It's a live pay-per-view taping, and she decides to, while sitting in the audience, flip off certain wrestlers, getting in an altercation with a certain wrestler that did not lead to anything else.
Yep.
But it led to her and that promoter being escorted out after they tried selling merch during this show's intermission that they were not a part of. Now,
agreed.
Yes.
Do you call her out by name? Do you try to punish her publicly? Or do you go, well, the promotion escorted her out, she's punished? Or do you go, well, yeah, she was punished, but a few weeks later, she goes back to her mentor, who is a two-time Hall of Famer and wrestling royalty, and my reason for going to Houston in the first place, and does not only does not get punished, does not only get exiled, does not only have to take a break, she gets rewarded with a title belt.
Damn.
But when she is called out, we're speaking about her without mentioning her name, and I'm not even including this portion of the conversation.
Yep.
And that's truly the problem with the industry. If there's really something egregious that you really are willing to discuss, why are we not calling out people specifically? Promoters who don't pay. And the truth about cancel culture is it comes around. At some point, that rebellious group that are leading the charge and are saying, you need to speak out and you need to be morally higher than Jesse Logan, and let's face it, that's impossible. No one's as morally high as Jesse and Nicole Logan. Anyway, two of my favorite people. He knows what I would have done. She would have slapped me across the face. We all can discuss that later.
I want to say one thing here, Steve, right? Like, you've known my wife longer than you've known me, right? She's known you for almost 20 years. She's been in locker rooms with you since she was 16 years old. And never one time have you ever made her feel uncomfortable in a locker room. She's always had the utmost respect for you. You've always had the utmost respect for her. So, you know what? You are always going to be good in my book, no matter what anybody says out there.
Well, trust me, man. I was called a prick long before 2020, and long before 2018. Like, I don't let Demarco out because it becomes a totally, I could get canceled now for some of the stuff I've even said, and I'm trying to be really diplomatic in some respects. But
the thing
again,
too,
man,
a lot of the people that are on social media and jumping into these conversations, they only see Steve Demarco, the wrestler. They only see, Rachel Rose, the accuser. They don't know them outside of their purview, so to speak. They don't know them outside of that circus environment that is professional wrestling. And when it comes down to it, I don't think either one of y'all were wrong. It's just cats and dogs and that awkwardness that happens at work sometimes between a woman and a man.
Right. Well, I mean, and here's the thing. Like, again, I didn't get a lot of bad comments. I didn't really pay attention. I try to, focus on the good because the bad was kind of around. So anyone who reached out, people that have known me a while. The one comment I will say that really struck a nerve on Twitter was a guy that said, well, this is the guy that used, and referring to me, that used the death of his former valet as a way of gaining sympathy.
I remember that.
And I was like, dude, I was suicidal for all 6 months of my initial YouTube videos. Like, I was real close to just driving or walking into highway traffic. And I had a good job, and I was at Booker's, and I was being complimented for my work rate and having a real possible future. And then she died, and my life tanked, and I became more suicidal than when I was in the service, which is saying something, because I was really suicidal when I served our country. And so my problem, and if anyone's like, well, what's cancel culture like for you? And I would say, well, if you're a comic book fan, imagine being Batman for over 20 years, or 25, let's say. And you've built this persona, and it is a shield for everything that could potentially damage Bruce Wayne. Because Bruce Wayne is a very fragile human being. He lost his family, he's an orphan, he lives with one other man, and now he goes and fights crime because he doesn't want anyone else impacted. Well, because this guy decided to tell some random, and I hate to use the word random, so we'll say some superhero or some woman in high order, he decides to say she looks pretty, they tell Bruce Wayne he can no longer be Batman. And so for the last year plus, and because of the pandemic as well, I haven't been Steve Demarco. I haven't had my shield. So when the accusations hit, I was broken. And no one knows how broken I was. I mean, I have this beautiful wife. I have this amazing stepson. I have this amazing stepdaughter. I have a house. I have a car. I have a 1-year-old. And this thing broke me. I had people who called me family that decided to say, well, publicly I can't be your friend, but personally I will still try to be your friend, and have not spoken to me since saying that. And I've had companies that said, oh, this guy's the foundational piece of our industry, or of our promotion, and basically just wipe their hands of it.
Yeah.
Because they don't, I had over 100 podcast episodes get erased because my former producer decided that his reputation as a podcaster was more important, because he was getting a lot of heat for having us, and I understood that. But what I didn't appreciate is that when Jackie, also known as Claudia, died of an overdose, that I couldn't get the episode that we recorded because he couldn't be bothered to look in his archives, because I was no longer of use to him. And that's the problem with the industry. Well, no, let's case in point. Bob Murphy. And I love Bob. Bob has done right by me in almost every situation. There is not a GSL without him. Without his, yes, you can do this, Steve. Yes, you can do what you want to do. Man, you're speaking shit into existence and it's happening. I spoke it into existence.
Yep.
But this is also the same man who paid me when during benefit shows when, normally a benefit show means you're working for free, but not with Bob. But Bob is also the same person who, while GSL was doing multiple segments, and while I was dealing with a shoulder injury, because I worked double duty for a show, because they couldn't and nor wouldn't want to afford another piece of talent to replace someone that called in. They were like, Steve, can you be that other guy? I know this show's all about GSL, and you're going to do like 5 or 6 segments, and you're only going to get paid for the one, but can you do extra work for us? Because you're a company guy, and you're the champ, and we need you.
Yep.
And so the first move into this tag match against the Great Ones, I blow out my shoulder, and everything's at risk, But again, Bob was real diplomatic when we spoke, when he made his change, and I applaud him for taking time. But since then, my son was born. I mean, he'll hit me up here and there, but again, you're told your family. We're all told that. That's the beauty. That's the beautiful lie that we all tell each other in many ways, right? We all tell each other we're a family. GSL was a family, and I watched all those videos that we put out in 2020 when we were doing quarantine videos before they were a fucking thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
What people are doing now, we were doing. I was doing way before. Right. But people consider it innovative, and I'm like, well, okay. Just wait. Imagine GSL at AEW, because I did at one time. None of those guys. I talked to Pumpkin, and I talked to Yule, and I talked to Nate Andrews on occasion. Anthony's been pretty nice, but everyone else, and they were quick to distance themselves, and I get it, because about 3 weeks prior to me being distanced, I had to distance a very close friend because there was actual proof that he had done something to an underage girl. And no matter how much I respect that dude, his company is synonymous with him, and as a business move, I had to go, hey, we can no longer work with him.
And that's the difference, kind of, when I looked at all that.
Right.
You see a lot of guys that did a lot of bad stuff. And, people say cancel culture, but, a lot of that's accountability, too. Because some of those people that got called out should have never been in that situation. And that's when I read yours, because yours was way different.
Yeah.
Yours wasn't y'all drove in a car to someplace 50 miles away
to go get Gatorade.
You know what I mean? It was more of just
back road of a warehouse.
It's more like workplace.
But that guy still goes to shows, and that guy still walks through it bulletproof. And truth be told, that guy reached out to me when I was really suicidal, and the little bit he said to me really made a difference. And when I got called out, the speaking out stuff, he was one of the ones who was like, DeMarco, I've never heard one person say a bad thing about you. They may say you have an attitude and this, that, the other, but the truth is, man, you're all about business. I've never heard a bad word otherwise. And man, don't let this stuff get you down. And I was like, I hate this industry. This industry I've worked for over 20 years. I've done back-breaking. GSL was an experiment about how we could get an entire company over by sheer will, when people were not looking at it as that.
Right.
And it's not the first time. I built reality of wrestling in some ways, and I got let go with just a simple 60-second phone call. So I'm well aware of like the hypocrisy that we live in. But the truth is, when I've told people their family, I might not be the greatest about like following up or giving them their flowers right away, but there are times where I give people flowers for no apparent reason. I'm just like, today, man, I wanted you to know that I love you, because who knows what happens? Who knows what happens when I pass, what people are going to refer to? I hope they don't refer to one incident where it's a he said, she said. I hope they could look at my legacy, which I don't even know if I have one. because some people want to erase it, and that's the harshest part about it, because I'm like, no, that stuff existed, man. Like, the dirtiness of our industry, it's a real thing, man. There's some real schmucks in our business. There's some real cutthroat stuff. I grew up in a very cutthroat industry. And the truth is, I thought I left it better, and I thought it was better. And I hope it is.
You left it better for a lot more people than you realize.
No, I agree 100%.
Don't ever think that way. You left it better for a lot of guys out there.
Well, just because I made Nate Slater look like a monster, and I literally made him look like a horror movie villain, and they were cheering for him to kill the campers that were GSL. But here's the truth, man. Here's the truth. When people ask me if I miss performing, the night that I worked Nate, and we did the show at Fearless, and it's the GSL formula. We're all going to get in there, and it's going to look like Nate doesn't have a chance, but we're going to prove that he has more than a chance because he's super powerful. We do that with everyone. Doesn't matter if you come in with a hula hoop and you're a 5'2" girl. We run like cowards because that's what we do. Because that was the name of the game for us. But I remember working Nate at that show. Prior to that, on the way, and this would happen to me on show days by the time I woke up. Sometimes I'd be wakened to this anxiety that my body wouldn't hold up, that the Steve Demarco facade would fade away and people would see that fragile kid. Like, I would constantly tell talent that I was working, like, I'm not great. I don't have it. Like, we're going to have to be limited because I don't know if I can keep up with anyone. And that whole time, the anxiety builds to, by the point that we're about to go out, I'm about to go to the promoter and be like, I'm done. I'm just going to hand him the title. I don't want to do this anymore. And that would be great if that was one instance. That last half of the GSL run, when we were really making the climb, when we were winning all the gold, when people were like, oh shit, I didn't know I liked that group, but I love that group. I was like dying inside. So, but again, man, I'm healing up, I'm blessed with where I'm at. I do miss performing. I miss the camaraderie. I do know that if I ever get invited back into it, that I'm going to be taking more pictures with friends and people that I work with, and I'm going to do some more candid stuff because that's the stuff that I didn't get to do because I was living in this old school mentality that you didn't do that. You didn't, you didn't take pictures with your buddies or with the name that was there because it was unheard of. And so every birthday on Facebook when there are candid pictures, I only have like flyers with people. And so moving forward, if I'm involved with anyone that was in the industry, even if I never go back, although I would love to go back when Slater wins the title, if he avenges his loss from the Puerto Rican juggernaut, and when he looks like he's at his fever pitch of herodom and his wife and children are like, Slater, and everyone's chanting, Silverback, Silverback. He's going to hear this Infinity Gauntlet start to activate in the background. He's going to go, no.
Damn it,
and
Steve.
then he'll hear a snap, and lo and behold, I'll appear like Jesus Christ himself.
Hey, can you snap your finger and make Thomas Bond disappear? Just snap that shit 3 times and make Thomas Bond disappear.
No, man. The reason he doesn't do dives anymore is because I snapped my fingers. Like we told him, don't try to defy gravity.
Snap that shit one more time,
You can't.
Steve DeMarco. Snap that shit.
He dived. I dived, guys.
He dived. He broke the world. Maybe that was what caused. I still think GSL with all the Infinity Gauntlet stuff would cause COVID. So I do apologize
There's a good
for that.
chance. There's a good damn chance.
And on that note, Steve DeMarco, it's been great to have you on the show. Before we let you go, why don't you go ahead and put your social media over, put your family over?
Okay, man. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I don't do content. I have a little podcast I'm putting out to kind of feel the waters if I even really want to do one. It's called This Thing I Call Life. The last episode talked about me doing door dashes for the last 3 years. So you can imagine where my life. No, I'm kidding. I love doing that. I didn't do it as a teen, so now that I do it, it's fun. Plus, I treat it like I'm actually delivering contraband to them, and I've got to avoid the cops. It's a whole thing. I might make a show of that, but I'm not putting out content probably until Jackson can actually talk, and then I'm going to develop a project, maybe wrestling related, maybe superhero related, all in his perspective, because that kid's my world. My wife's my world. Everybody, everybody that I see on a hourly basis in the pandemic. And I'm blessed to have every moment with them. I can only imagine what my life would be like without it, the pandemic. For those that are looking at me and don't martyr me, I made a choice. And even if I consider it like innocent and whatnot, if it truly made her feel as uncomfortable as she states, then I have every right to have been punished.
Well, you know what, DeMarco? I can tell you one thing. I still think there's more sexy Steve DeMarco in the tank. And I hope I get to see it again in the ring one day.
I'll be waiting for that gauntlet, brother. I'll be waiting for that gauntlet. I've already told you I'm ready.
I'm like Candyman. Y'all look in a mirror. You say Steve DeMarco, Steve DeMarco. No,
I'm gonna go try that. Don't play with me. I'm gonna go try that.
Don't do it. I've closed down the portal for the time being. But I will be honest. And Nate Slater knows this. I will always send him ideas of you know what, man? When you get to about 2 years, I'm gonna show up and be like, I never lost, man. I never lost. I never got pinned. Last thing I remember,
that makes two of us,
champion.
brother. That makes two of us. I didn't lose.
I've been champ. Yeah, and then we destroy the Puerto Rican juggernaut, and then we become tag partners, and then we just I don't know.
Fantasy booking at its best.
And Jesse, be careful what you wish for, because I have immense respect for y'all. But I love gold way more, and if a company's like DeMarco, I need you to do something. I will bring $20 Man with me, and we will rack shop.
I look forward to it. I hope
only Thomas can rep. I need Thomas to be my personal rep.
I'll come back for you, Steve DeMarco.
I don't know if he's still got the two in him.
I'll come back for you, Steve DeMarco, just for you, homeboy.
Sweet. And hey, Thomas, I'll let you dive in front of your daughters, so they'll think of you as a hero, like everyone thinks of Jesse Logan.
Hero everybody don't need.
Do you realize that Jesse Logan is probably... No, I can't say that because Slater's there. I can't say that Logan's the most over. Slater's pretty over. But Logan, man, in the world of life, woo, man, few people. Young wrestlers, pay attention to Jesse Logan. He did something right. Slater probably buried something and sacrificed it for his career, but Jesse Logan is an
there's only two
dude.
Marriages on that list, so shh.
Oh, okay, yeah. But you have to sacrifice something, didn't you? I mean, Logan's been married since he was 12 to Nicole. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Day one of wrestling.
Thank you.
Why is that not a story? You guys should write that movie and put it out.
Well, hey, man,
oh my God,
there's a Logan dynasty in the works, brother.
Oh, I know. It just keeps building, and hopefully,
Sorry there, Steve DeMarco's $20 Man sneeze just now. And the good thing is, you witnessed history, because every once in 150 years, $20 Man let out a sneeze, so you was there for it.
Nice. Yeah, I hear you're more OCD about it than Vince McMahon about
Hey, man,
like you don't
be losing control.
Some angels lost their wings. They're now in hell because of $20 Man sneeze. I tell you what.
Steve DeMarco, we appreciate you coming to the show. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back here on Cheap Pops Radio, sponsored by Local Wrestling and Cartoon U.
I'm a selfish kind of person with a soul trying to fly. I aim to break the laws of nature and learn to love before I die. I was naked then, I'm naked now, and my nakedness
Hey, look, Jesse Nate, look. $20 man gonna be honest with you because he can't get a straight answer from Thomas Bond because he don't be having $20 man best interest at heart. So he got a situation over here down in Ireland. Don't be confusing it with Scotland though. That's third world country shit. They got bombed out windows in Scotland. You don't want to be fucking with that shit. But he having internet relations with a girl named Mallory O'Shea. $20 man call her Molly for short. And he in love, but he don't know if he in love because, see, the thing is, she always be asking $20 man for Cash App situations. Cash App, PayPal, Venmos, all that stuff. And then $20 man have to kind of say he involved in movies, things like that, try to get her.
Wait. Did you just say you're in love with Molly?
Yeah, but not that kind of son. $20
I'm
man.
just trying to make sure.
No, $20 man was in love with Molly, but now he in love with Molly this kind of way.
She's always asking for your Cash Apps.
Yeah, she be like Cash App, and she be putting dollar signs.
Is this like a real girl or what?
No, she real.
I mean, how do you know she's real?
Hey, don't be asking. Y'all asking way too many questions.
Have you seen her in person?
Have you seen her live?
She live in Ireland. $20 man got to scrape together some money. Actually, he taking GoFundMe right now for a trip over there. So if y'all want to throw $20 man some cash his way,
I mean, I might have a nickel.
Thank y'all. It all add up in the end because the thing is, see, Molly she be asking for money, and $20 man kind of hard up, so he be asking her. He be asking her to
asking for money. Is she like an Irish princess or something?
She be having strong accent though. She sound kind of like some people be saying she sound like man, but she tough sounding, son. She so tough. And $20 man get revved up, and he ain't been revved up in like 200 years now. So it's getting really serious when you know his heart.
He's starting to talk about getting revved up. I might have to leave, bro.
No, son,
a little uncomfortable.
$20 man need your advice right now. What did he do?
Give her some money.
$20 man big time actor, so he been
just give her some
money. Just go ahead and give her the GoFundMe, bro. Just go ahead and give it to her.
Give her the GoFundMe. Be like, okay, I'll get you some money, but you gotta give me something in return, right? Because I want to come see you. So I'll help you out with this if you give me a payment to help come see you in person in Ireland. Because that's what you gotta do.
Wait, hold on. I've been in the bathroom. What are y'all even talking about?
So
apparently he's getting catfished, but you know.
Oh, catfish?
Wait.
It's happened to me one time, but come on.
Man, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that.
No, that's why we be opening up investigations to help each other out,
catfish, now I'm hungry.
Look, we got a lot to do, man. We got to interview Steve Demarco. Let's get to work. We're back here on Cheap Pops Radio. We had a great time. We actually spent an hour talking to the very young, sexy Steve Demarco, the Texas indie legend. He's the youngest indie legend. Okay, I made all that up, but he's a great guy. He's our homie, and it was good to spend time with him, man. It was. People go through high points in their life. They go through low points in their life. And I think the sign of a man, is how you deal with said adversity. Mm-hmm. And I think he dealt with that with dignity. He didn't try to take charge of anything. He didn't try to just go out and smear anybody's name. He was humble. He accepted, this person felt that way. He made a statement and we all moved on. And it was really good to spend time with him.
It was.
I agree. He's taken ownership for whatever his role may have been, and he apologized. So,
it's like we live in a world where it's so easy for any kind of thing that happens to kind of get spun in any old way, especially when it comes to the complexity of the relationship between a man and a woman.
Yeah.
The $20 man, he's on his phone. Is that Molly?
Actually got an important message. She asking for double funds. She said, "Can you just hit it twice? She said, just hit Cash App once and then go back in and do it right over."
Has she even sent you nudes yet?
No, she working on it though. She working on it though. She got a surprise for $20 man after the next two cash app go through.
You know what that surprise is? I'm pretty sure she's packing.
Yeah, she packing a lot of love for $20. She packing a lot. She got big hearts.
Hey, is this Irish account being routed through like Thailand at all?
No, but the only thing is she do be having.
What the fuck are you into?
Have you not seen The Hangover 2?
Hey, he's been to Bangkok.
Jesse Logan is suspect.
We learning a lot of things this episode.
Let's talk about this Molly.
Movies.
Yeah.
So let's talk. So this Molly, you've never seen her in person. Y'all just verbally communicate through the DMs. Yeah, how do y'all spend time together?
Does she have a webcam?
It's crazy though because we fell in love. So it's like lockdown situation. You know, everybody locked down, and then we start messaging. $20 man come home, he hit the trailer. And he just sounded like he bored, he lonely. And then all of a sudden we'd be connecting on Facebooks and all that, and social medias. And then she'd be like, hey, you're so great. I love the way you get on there and you say these funny jokes. And the $20 man like, hey, girl, $20 man, love your big eyes. You got big eyes, girl. You be looking fuzzy around the edges on the jawline. What? How you do that? Them pictures look amazing, girl. And then he'd be like, can we FaceTime? And she like, I don't think we should do that. But imagine this in big man Irish voice, like, oh, you don't be doing that to $20 man. You know, that kind of voice. And then $20 man over here, he trying to get like more intimates, but she kind of dodging.
So 20. You've never seen her on like FaceTime or anything like that?
Not on FaceTime yet. We working on it though.
She sent you pictures, but because I know there's a pandemic going on right now. She sent you pictures with the mask on?
No mask. She's just big eyes. She got big old eyes.
Just big old eyes. No mask.
You know, like them Chinese cartoons where they got them big eyes and big Chinese cartoons where they got them big eyes.
Get canceled.
Yeah, it don't matter. But she got them, and then the $20 man be looking at them eyes. It's just so, just rip them up.
So you get in your feelings. So,
Yeah.
So y'all talk, but she doesn't.
But then she get mad when $20 man go out to the bar. $20 man go out to the bar. He be hanging out with the women's. What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with it. I do it all the time.
We 4,000 miles away from each other. $20 man gotta let off some steam, girl. And then she be trying to control $20 man. Like, nah, he seen you. Molly seen you with them. Wait, $20 man gonna do the voice right. Molly seen you with them women's, and he know you with the wonderful one right now. But let $20 man be $20 man. We get back in the trailer. He be contacting you, and we be talking love stories to each other. And she don't want to do that. She want to control $20 man. What are you gonna do?
Well, we've got two successfully married men here.
Thank you.
One that has filled me.
You a failure over here. This man got problems.
This is what
I'm not officiating the next one.
This is what I'm gonna say about Molly.
I don't think anybody should.
Virtual relationships are like totally acceptable.
Okay.
But I wouldn't send her no money.
Okay.
At least not so you get a dirty picture text. We're sophisticated. We don't say.
No, I'm saying if she don't turn the webcam on and go live with you, no money.
Get that
$20
webcam.
man begging for that FaceTimes, dog. If she don't, he want to see the big eyes in person.
Hey, if she wants money, send her a webcam. If she don't get on the webcam, then call it a day.
Hey, Molly, if you listening, please just send $20 man one FaceTime. He got all the money coming your way. You heard it here first.
That fish has taught us anything.
Ladies and gentlemen,
he loved you.
I think we need to send. Somebody needs to take some time and show $20 man how to operate OnlyFans.
Not it.
Nope.
Nah.
Hey, when you see $20 man in his diapers all laying on his stomach, y'all be really turned on. All of y'all in here right now. Y'all ain't gonna lie. You be seeing them big diapers on $20 man, and y'all be singing a different tune.
Hey, Jesse, that might be up the alley for them Bangkok videos you've been watching.
It's the Hangover 2 movie.
You got
Hey, Nicole, I didn't script that. That was all.
He got a lot of explaining to do once this man get back home.
Movie, man. What the heck?
Yeah, he bet it was an awesome movie.
I mean, they had a monkey, dude. You should know. There's a monkey in the movie.
Wait, hold on.
I'm not a monkey. I'm a gorilla. There's a
It's
difference.
a monkey.
No, there's a difference.
Wait,
It's a monkey.
so you're sexually attracted to monkeys now?
Hold on, somebody switch seats with me.
A culture cancel on
What
Logan.
about gorillas?
I actually prefer Godzilla.
Wow.
Hey, Jason Sullivan is calling you out.
Man, this is crazy. Culture cancel is real, dog.
Apparently, he likes to take them big. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next time on Cheap Pops Radio, sponsored by Local Wrestling, Cartoon U, JMT shirts, and Molly.
$20 man.
No.
Oh.
Peace out.
And not Molly, because she's trying to get money from us, right?
Yeah.
But you're an actor, right?
Yeah, big time actor.
You're the first
big
action
time,
hero.
big time. First action hero. Not the last one, but the first one.
I thought we were ending this segment. What the hell,
Yeah.
Barnes?
Fuck it, we're done. Thank you, Steve Demarco. You're our homeboy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to Cheap Pops Radio, sponsored by JMT Shirts and Cartoon U. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Cheap Pops Radio, and you can reach us at cheappopsradio@gmail.com for anything you'd like to know about Cheap Pops Radio and Cheap Pops Coast to Coast.